right, just about 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Beautiful Thursday morning. I hope you're doing well. And if you're a runner, you probably appreciate the fact that it's a little bit cooler out there right now. I don't know. My son is a runner. My son runs all those crazy races, like the Savage races, things like that.
Yeah.
Your daughter does those things. Your Robin's mom, while she doesn't run, she walks 5 miles a day. Can we say how old she is? Is it all
Yeah,
right?
she's 80.
80 years old. She walks 5 miles a day. I walk from my car to right here, and I pretty much that's it for the whole day. Dr. Ivan Levinrad can top all of that. He can trump all of that. He does a lot of running, but he's not really here to talk about running, although we'll probably bring it up. He is a doctor of physical therapy, which makes sense. He specializes in orthopedics, spinal conditions, and sports industries at Strive Physical Therapy. And Leah Caruso is here, by the way. Leah, good morning, Leah.
Good morning.
Where are you? How come we don't hear you? Is that your microphone right there?
Good morning.
There you are. There you are. And let's see. In addition to what we've already told you, let me tell you this: Dr. Levinrad has won the Shotokan?
Yes, it's a style of karate.
Karate South African Championships. And if you just heard him, you heard that accent, that beautiful accent. He won that 3 times, represented South Africa. So in other words, he can break your neck and fix it.
That's about right. And run over you.
And he's completed 105 marathons. And listen to this: 26.2 miles for 95 of them. And then the other 10 have been what? Between
ultra marathons between 35 and 55 milers.
Gosh. Robin and I rode a bicycle 50 miles one time, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's harder on the butt.
I don't even like driving anymore to Orlando, let alone driving almost the whole way. I mean, running up the whole way. All right, so we're going to speak about health management. Weight management. I need to listen to this one, Robin. Health disease prevention by incorporating jogging and running into your lifestyle. All right, I'm all ears, Doctor. Dr. Ivan Levinrad, you've been fun so far off the air, so thank you for coming into the studio to chat with us, and I need to lower the camera a little bit in the wrong position there. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good.
And you ran this morning?
I ran this morning. I run approximately 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week. I'm 57 now, so I don't do 70, 80 miles a week like I used to. I do about 40 miles a week now. That's probably more than most people drive in their cars.
It is.
That's what a lot of people tell me.
And was I right in the intro that cool weather is preferable?
Absolutely. However, for me, this is not cool. This is freezing. So cool weather is 50 degrees for me. That's nice. 45. I was in tights and 2-3 layers of clothing, a cap, gloves. So it was
This
cold.
morning you were running like that?
Yeah. 38 degrees is cold for me.
Really? So how far back did you start running, and why did you start running?
Oh, that's a good question. I tell you honestly why I started running. When I was 13 years old, I was a little overweight. And my 2 sisters are really great sportswomen.
Oh,
and
really?
in South Africa, the weather's beautiful. You can do exercise outdoors every day of the year.
Are they older than you? Older sisters? Okay.
My 2 sisters are 9 and 6 years older than me, good sportswomen. And they challenged me to run around the block with them. And I couldn't keep up with them at the first corner.
Oh, really?
And they teased me.
Oh.
And I felt so mad. I was so cross that I said, I'm going to show you. And I started running. And I ran cross country at school. And I did very, very well. And then I got involved in martial arts when I was 16 years old, before Bruce Lee was heard of. I saw one of those Eastern movies, you know, where it wasn't synchronized.
Right.
And I thought, I'd like to do something like that.
It wasn't synchronized. Oh, the voice wasn't.
That's
okay,
right.
Right.
And I then started doing martial arts and running at the same time. And then I did very well at martial arts. But to be fit for martial arts, you need to run. So I didn't do a lot of mileage. I did a lot of sprints and cross-country running at school.
Martial arts while you're running? I mean, what do you...
Well, to keep
that
fit.
Sounds like I'm
because
picturing
you need
Rocky.
to be fit. You need to be fit.
Remember in Rocky, he's running and he's also punching at the same time?
Yeah, but that's Hollywood.
That was Hollywood.
That's Hollywood.
So you were running and doing karate chops?
Well, that's right. But I mean training for karate so that you are fit. So when you're training a good hard hour and a half class, you don't fatigue. So I carried on running. I did my first marathon when I was 18 years old for fun. I didn't even run more than about 12, 13 miles. I didn't know what I was getting involved. So some friends challenged me to run a marathon, a standard marathon.
Wow.
And I did 3 hours and 25 minutes. And they all said, man, that is really a good time. That's averaging 8-minute miles.
Wow, and how did you feel at the end of it?
Elated. Sore, but elated.
Oh, really? How hard did you train for that?
No, I only did about 12, 13 miles. And I was training, but for, karate, basically.
Really?
And then I thought, you know what? I want to see if I can do better. So my best time for the standard marathon is 2 hours and 57 minutes, which is running just under 7-minute miles.
So karate is often described as a mental sport. How much of that skill is applicable to running?
Well, that's a good question, but karate is more of a self-discipline regarding pushing yourself with regard to repetitive training and fighting. You get injured, taking blows, giving blows, and training consistently. Running is very similar, but you're not giving and taking blows. But you've got to go out there, you've got to be consistent, you've got to be disciplined. Right. But, that goes back to anything. If you want to achieve well in it, you've got to be consistent, you've got to be disciplined, and you've got to put some effort into it. Like weight management, walking, whatever it is going to be, you need some consistent effort in it.
So you are here to talk about weight management, and you're with Strive, right? That's where you are?
Strive Physical Therapy. Okay. Correct.
So how do we get to you? Do we go through Leah? I mean, how do we say, okay, I need some help with my weight issue? What do I do?
You just call the administration, our central office.
And what will happen? What will happen after that?
They'll contact me, and then I can get hold of you, and we can set up an appointment.
And we're going to go running every morning? You don't want any. You don't want me with you.
We don't start you off running.
Okay.
You start off walking, and then you build up your time walking. Then you be sensible about it. You do walk jogging, slowly increasing your jogging time.
Right.
And you don't have to do it every day, 3 to 4, 5 days a week, but you build it up gradually.
How much time do you spend per day walking and running?
I do my hour every morning.
Okay.
And then if I'm doing a long run, like on the weekends, I'll do a 10 or 13 miler or whatever it is.
Really?
Now, if it's a marathon I'm training for, I do a 20 miler. Then you're out on the road for a little longer.
See, I'm going to tell you something you probably hear all the time, and you probably hate hearing this. But coming from inside of me, it feels like it's the truth. There's no time. When am I going to do this? When would I, if I was to put myself in the shoes of somebody doing this, I would say, when would I have time? I don't have enough time for what I do now.
It's a good question. And I'll tell you, there's a very simple answer. It's a priority. You've got to make it a priority.
Make it a priority. Okay.
And I tell you, I run in the morning. I get up at 5:15. At 5:30, 5:45, I'm on the road, depending what my mileage distance is that day. So I'm finished by 7:30, and I'm showering, and I'm at work at 8 o'clock. If I want to run longer, I get up earlier. I don't run at the end of the day because I'm tired. I'm on my feet as a physical therapist all day. And then invariably there's a meeting or you're running late at work.
Right.
If it's hotter, especially Florida weather, it's hotter at the end of the day. In the morning it's cooler, less traffic, less pollution, and it's done for the day. So it's not on my mind the whole day.
Right.
But you've got to make a conviction. You've got to set a discipline, and you've got to say this is important, because I tell you the alternative is you're going to get sick. So then you're going to spend more time at the doctor's and maybe in hospital.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it.
The time I wake up is 3 a.m. to do the show. Should I run in the dark?
No, you don't run in the morning then. So what time do you finish in the afternoon?
2
o'clock.
Yeah.
2 o'clock is a great time. You get out and you go and run. You start walking.
So you don't run in the dark?
Oh, I run in the dark early morning.
Do?
Yeah, but you can. I mean, I know some people that run in the evenings.
So I would need to wake up at 2 and then run, then start working.
But I guarantee you one thing. By the time you get to work, you're going to be much more alert, more productive. You're going to have more energy.
So have you ever had, I mean, I know you've done this since you were 13, but has there been a period in your life when maybe illness or circumstances you couldn't run?
Absolutely. If I've got a cold or flu, I won't run.
So what happens to you?
No, I rest up for a week.
Oh, okay.
And then I go back to walk jogging every other day. I listen to my body. And if I'm feeling better, I pick up the miles. Within a couple of days, I'm back to it.
Wow.
In December, I went on vacation, Mexico. I had a lovely resort holiday. I got up in the morning. I didn't do heavy mileage. I just easy 4 or 5 every day, or some other days. And I missed 1 or 2 days. I didn't feel guilty about it, or not too guilty about it, if I'm honest. But, you got to have some rest. You don't have to go hard every day. Some days easy, some days hard. You got to be sensible about it.
How do you keep yourself hydrated? Do you take water with you when you run, or
no, you don't need to. If you're running under an hour, you don't need to have water with you. Now, if it's really hot in Florida late afternoon, you can stop at a cafe and you just 7-Eleven, and you take some money with you. You buy a water. You don't need Gatorade, anything like that. If you're running a mile and a half, you don't need to worry. Now, if you're running a longer distance, then you need to take fluids. I recommend you just take a glass of water before you go for your run. I do that every morning. Even if it's cold, I take a glass of water before. And at the end of my run, I drink a lot of water so that I'm urinating frequently during the day and it's clear.
I know I am.
You know you're hydrating.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to be silly. I'm sorry. It's my job is to be silly, just so you know.
I can see that. I can see that. But you're not doing so well at it.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll tell my boss. So let me ask you this. Whenever we talk to other people about weight loss and they talk about diet and exercise, they say it's 80%, usually, I mean, some differ with the amounts, but 80% diet, in other words, eating right, and 20% exercise. Do you agree with that?
I agree with it to a large extent, but not 80-20. I would say 75-25. I'm splitting hairs here. What I'm basically saying is that nutrition and what you eat is what you are. So you need to eat in more moderation.
See, this is why I don't eat shellfish.
And I hate the word diet, because the connotation with a diet means that if you're eating specific foods or specific or specific that, and then if you eat one of those poor choices, I didn't say bad food, poor choices, then I'm a loser. You feel bad about yourself, so what do? Oh, well, I'm failed, I'm a failure, and you just go mad
and
eat everything. I know it's true.
That's very...
It's here.
Yeah.
So it's all in the head. So what you need to do is, it's all moderation. You can eat everything you want, okay, in variety, but it's how much and how often. So 80% of the time, if you're making healthier choices, your fruits, your veggies, and so on and so forth, and your meats and your fish, and 20% of the time you want to have some chicken wings, you want to have a cold beer, you want to eat a bit of chocolate cake, that's fine, but you don't eat the whole chocolate cake. You don't have to have a massive piece. You can have half a chocolate cake. And that's training. Like anything else, the more you practice it, the better you'll get at doing it. You don't wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to start eating healthy, and you've got it mastered. I've been doing it for many, many years. I watch what I eat. And I still slip every now and again, but I don't regard myself a failure. I get back on track at the next meal.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Of course it does.
And Leah, we're taking phone calls, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me invite our listeners, if you would like to call and ask Dr. Levinrad a question. The number is 622-9622, 622-WOCA, the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. I invite you to call right now to speak to Dr. Levinrad, especially if you want to incorporate jogging and running into your weight loss commitment maybe that you made.
I want to just use that word jogging and running so people don't think we're talking about running and pushing it hard. That's why, to me, I'm not a running snob. That, are you a jogger, or you're a runner? It's different things to different people. It depends on your pace. Jogging, running, it's the same thing. Get out there and do it.
Just do it. Okay.
What about footwear?
Footwear is really important because that's where your body interacts with the ground. So besides too much, too fast, too soon being the biggest cause of injuries, your biomechanics of your feet relates to what can happen in your lower extremities and your back. So if you have got a certain type of foot, if you pronate or supinate, in other words, run more on the inside of your foot as opposed to the outside of the foot in layman's terms, depends if you're taking too much cushioning or not enough cushioning, or if you're not getting too much stability, then you need the appropriate shoe. And yes, there's a wide variety of different shoes that you can buy. I don't advocate Nike or Brooks or Saucony or any. That depends the foot that you put in the shoe and depends on your budget.
So is that part of what you would do for us? Is you would help us figure out what's a good shoe?
Exactly. As a physical therapist, I will evaluate your feet, your biomechanics, recommend a type of shoe, not a make, a type of shoe.
Right.
And then you can go to a shoe store, you educate it, and obviously some good shoe stores will have sales personnel that know about that. Unfortunately, a lot of them are not that educated on it, so I can help you with that.
Well, plus they're trying to sell something. So there's something that somebody's trying to sell me something one time, and I'm going to ask you if you were with me that day, would you have told me to go ahead and buy it? It was called orthotic. It was the thing that goes in the shoe.
That's right, an inner sole. An inner sole.
Okay.
Now, it depends on the foot if you need an inner sole. Not everybody needs an inner sole. And I don't advocate inner soles just off the cuff. If you got a decent pair of shoes, you try that first. If you're getting injuries and having problems, then possibly you might need an inner sole to further stabilize your foot in the shoe.
So that would be, again, you'd have to look at the foot and you'd have to look at us. Okay.
Correct.
But so in general, you would, okay, so the other part of that question is there's two types. The Dr. Scholl's it's already made, or there's one $300 one that you literally step on a platform and there's a computer printout and somebody designs an insole for you that you paid $300.
The evidence shows that there's no difference between your 300 custom-made pair and off the shelf.
Okay.
There's a lot of research to show that. So your $30, $40 pair is just as good. I suppose if there's any podiatrists listening to this, they're going to call in and argue with me about that. Those probably are. However, the only time that it is applicable for a custom is if you've got a really unique, problematic foot that a podiatrist would be able to help you with. But the regular runner, so on, you can get away with a really reasonable inner sole. Now, there are some good off-the-shelf inner soles, and there's some poorer ones.
Now, when a person wants to take charge of their weight and really lose weight and just have a healthier lifestyle, sometimes they go to the doctor and have that medical procedure done where they drop a lot of weight and get thin. But would you recommend against that and have a person retrain their body to lose weight naturally? A
gastric bypass is a really, radical condition, to treat. To have a procedure to undergo. So I would recommend, like anything else in medicine, rather try conservative, see if you can do it on your own, and then you go for the less conservative approach. And if you have a gastric bypass, you got to watch what you eat and exercise after the procedure anyway.
Yeah.
So you're not off the hook. So if you've really tried and you've exercised and you're getting your head in the game, because it's a mental problem. We've got an addiction to food here. So you need to combat that first. So you guys all know it's not easy to eat moderately, to watch what you're eating most of the time.
Right.
So a lot of people have gastric bypass and they go back to square one over time. They have other complications. However, there are a good number that do very well, but they go for psychological counseling. They get good training, maybe personal coaching. They go to the gym and they change their lifestyle. It's all about lifestyle change. I hate that word diet. It's not a good word.
Okay. Let me reintroduce you and again invite our listeners to call. Dr. Ivan Levinrad is in the studio, and he is a doctor of physical therapy who specializes in orthopedics, spinal conditions, and sports industries at Strive Physical Therapy Center. So we want to make sure we get that information as well as how we can get a hold of you. I want to ask another question that's kind of piggybacking on the 80-20 thing we talked about.
Yes.
If exercise is only 20 or 25 or whatever we want to say it is part of the reason why it even works at all because it improves our metabolism? Is that true, or is that just something?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, let me give you some research here.
But I don't mean just while we're running. I mean even after. Okay.
Sure. Look, to burn up, to use exercise as a weight management tool, you've got to do a significant amount of exercise. Let me give you an example. If you walk a mile, you're burning up, the average person, depending on your size, but average number is 100 calories. If you go eat a bagel, a large bagel, without anything, a plain bagel, how many calories is that?
190.
Yeah, it's about 200 to 300 calories.
Okay. All right.
The point I'm making, you've got to walk at least, walk or jog or run, same difference, at least 2 to 3 miles. So for weight management...
Just for one bagel, wow.
That's right. So you've got to understand what we're talking about here. So to make your exercise as part of weight management, you've got to build up, not start off, you've got to build up over time, where you're walking at a minimum an hour, 6 days a week. So the numbers is about 25 miles a week for really helping weight management. And you still got to watch what you're eating.
Wow.
So that, I don't want to put people off. To prevent heart disease and strokes and the like, the American College of Sports Medicine have got a position statements that if you're walking or running or doing some endurance type activity, 20 to 30 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week, that's good enough, but not for weight management. You've got to be doing it an hour, 6 days a week. Now, walking, jogging, or running, you're going to burn up essentially about the same amount of calories during that mile. I know people can't believe that. Okay, because work is force times distance. It's the distance that's important. Force is mass times acceleration. So your mass makes a difference as well, but not that much.
Gotcha, right.
You understand?
Right. I do.
So the difference is if I run 10 miles or I walk 10 miles is I'm going to burn more calories after my activity till my resting metabolic rate comes down to its basal level. So if I run it, I'm going to take longer after my exercise session to get back to my basal level, therefore burning up more calories after my exercise. If I'm walking the 10 miles, I'm going to come back to my resting metabolic rate much quicker, so I'm not going to burn that many calories afterwards. So to answer your question about metabolism, when you exercise, you're increasing your metabolism. You're generating heat. So you're burning up calories. That's a measure of calories. You understand?
Is that why they suggest that you eat after you exercise instead of before?
No. You don't want to eat before because you're directing blood to digestive system as opposed to your muscles, so there's competition. That is why your mother told you never swim after eating a big meal, because you can get leg cramps.
How do you know my mother told me that?
Yeah, that's right. Well, your mother should have. So you want to wait a few hours because otherwise you get stomach cramp.
Right.
And you can drown. But yeah,
I've seen people jog and run with their dogs on leashes. Is that a good thing?
Poor dog.
I feel bad for the dog.
Because dogs don't generate heat. They don't. Sorry, they generate heat. They don't dispose of the heat as effectively because they don't sweat. They sweat through their tongue, and also it's hard on their paws. And a dog is your best friend. He's going to keep up with you regardless. He's going to try to keep up with you to please you. So walking your dog is great. Running your dog, you speak to any vet, they're going to not recommend that unless, of course, it's colder weather. But then you've got to be careful the turf that you're running them on.
Can you talk to the person who's listening who says, I don't mean there's a phone call. I mean, I'm imagining this person.
I'm with you.
The person does not need to lose weight, but is wondering about how his health or her health might improve by jogging. Will jogging actually improve somebody's health even if they're the perfect weight?
Absolutely.
In what way?
Because the benefits of exercises, we could talk for hours on the benefits of exercises. Decreases heart disease, your risk of stroke, decreases the incidence of diabetes or your chance of getting diabetes or becoming insulin resistant. It helps to strengthen your heart. Your uptake of glucose in the bloodstream is far more effective in exercising muscles. I mean, we can go on and on and on here. So the person that is a normal good weight, let's say, he's within his BMI of 18 to 25, he's a healthy body mass index, BMI, he might have heart disease in his family. He might have high cholesterol. If he hasn't gone to his doctor and checked that out and exercise and watching what he's eating, can decrease those risks dramatically. So people that are a correct weight, that eat all junk food and so on, they might just genetically have a high metabolic rate. Doesn't take them out of the risk factors. They're going to have less chance of risk factors, but doesn't clear them.
Well, what about supplements? What do you think about that?
Oh, that's been in the news
That's
lately.
That's a good
too.
one.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that the evidence shows nobody needs supplements if you're eating a balanced diet. And I promise you, I don't see any malnourished people in this country, or very few.
Right.
So do you need them? No. However, the evidence does show that folic acid you need because it decreases homocysteine, which decreases inflammation in your arteries. So, and folic acid for pregnant females.
Oh, okay.
For spina bifida, prevents spina bifida. So folic acid seems to be one of those minerals that we need, or vitamins we need.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then, vitamin D is getting a lot of publicity lately, and it looks like, but you need to go to your doctor, have a blood test, and see if you are lacking vitamin D. But really, I'll be honest with you, I take a multivitamin every day.
Oh, really?
Why? Yes, I do. I'm being honest. I do. You know why? to cover my butt. That's why I'm doing it.
Okay.
Really, at the end of the day. So I take a multivitamin with folic, with 400 micrograms of folic acid and vitamin D, and I take it every day. I take a vitamin gummy, you know, just to make sure that I'm kind of doing good.
See, only Robin can say that. Get away with it. She complimented your butt.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you have a nice
Thank you. That's from all the running.
I know he did. I know you didn't hear it. All right, so let me ask you to do this, if you could. Give us a success story, if you could. Maybe somebody you've worked with who came to you and they really had a problem, and they were a good listener. They really paid attention to your instructions, and a year later or whatever, they were a changed person.
I've got hundreds of stories.
Hundreds of them. Okay.
I've got a walking program which progresses to walk, jogging, and running, literally day by day up to a marathon. It's a 3-step program. It will take you about a year and a half to do it, and I challenge you to go ahead and get it and start it. However, I've given it to a number of people. For example, I took a whole lot of runners with diabetes, team diabetes. We went to Hawaii, we went to London Marathon, and a few of them had never run before. And they were overweight, at least 30, 40 pounds. And the one lady, I won't mention her name, she was at least 40 pounds. And she came to me and said, Ivan, I want to do a marathon. I said, you can do it. She said, really? I said, you can do it. You just got to be motivated.
How old was she? Can I ask?
You know, I'm trying to remember her age.
About?
She was in her late 30s, early 40s.
Okay.
And I got her walking, and then the walk jogging program, and a year and a half later, she had lost well over 40 pounds.
Wow.
And she ran London Marathon. And she did it in just over 4 hours.
Wow.
That is amazing.
And I've got a lot of stories, because whenever I give people my program that are leading a slothful lifestyle, that are not looking after themselves, I always tell them, please, here's my email address. Let me know when you achieve certain milestones. And I keep all the emails. I've got a number of them. In fact, one day I was traveling continentally, and I was in Nashville at the airport, and I was waiting for a flight, and I happened to be sitting next to a air hostess. She was waiting for the flight, and we started talking, and she said she would love to run. I sent her my program, I emailed it to her, and I met her at the Boca Raton Marathon in Louisiana, and she ran a marathon.
Oh, wow. And was she needing to lose weight?
No, she didn't, but she was not fit. And she said, Ivan has changed my life. So I could tell you lots of stories like that.
Yeah.
But from a weight management perspective, the benefits are there. Because once you start getting more active, you start feeling that you don't want to eat, fast foods, and you don't feel good eating foods that are heavy on you, so to speak. You actually start becoming more disciplined, and then you see the scale dropping down 1 or 2 pounds a week. You don't want to lose more than that.
Sure.
And that motivates you even further. So in fact, the one goes with the other.
You had said about pregnant women earlier. Can pregnant women jog and run too, or should they
I'm not a gynecologist, but if you read some of the research, and your gynecologist will probably support me on this, if you were previously a runner or you went to the gym, then you can continue. Don't start it when you're pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, up to a certain stage, you'll then have to stop because of the ligaments getting lax. Pregnancy, and of course the uncomfortableness of the fetus. And then, of course, you have to wait about 6 to 8 weeks after you've had the baby, so the ligaments get tighter again around the pelvic area.
Oh, okay.
And I guess before we get the information about how we can get a hold of you and all that, just one more question about treadmills. What do you think of that? I mean, to me, if you're going to run, you might as well go outside and enjoy the weather. But what do you think of treadmills in general?
Treadmills is a nice piece of equipment if you're going to use it. Unfortunately, like all home equipment, it ends up being an expensive clothes hanger. And then you sell it on the internet for half the price that you paid for it because you don't use it. Now, if you live up north and you've got miserable snowy weather like they're having, and you're an avid runner, then it's a great tool to have. Like anything else, if you use it. Do you have to spend lots of money on a treadmill? No, but you don't want to get a cheapie. You'd rather spend about $1,000 for a reasonable treadmill. Now you don't have to spend $3,000 and $4,000 with like a heavy duty gym one, but a reasonably priced. If you buy a cheap $300 with a bad motor, it's going to burn out. You're not going to get decent. And also the belt will slide, and you got to adjust it. It's a problem. But the problem is to jog on a treadmill at home is boring.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Cycle on a stationary bike, it's boring. And you're right, to go outdoors, it's lovely. You've got to dodge the cars, you've got to avoid the animals, you can get run over, so it makes it more challenging.
That's right, it's more exciting.
All right, so I'll tell you my little jogging story. I got a little jogging, because I actually did 2 miles a day for when I was younger. And in fact, when I was really younger, when I was never out of shape at all, I used to walk 2 miles to school and had one sandwich at lunchtime. So my eating was in check, and I was walking every day. But anyway, when I was an adult, maybe in my 30s or something, I was jogging about 2 miles every morning. And there was a dog that always chased me. Always chased me. I have a brother who's a veterinarian. So I told my brother, I said, what can I do about this dog? He says, well, take a water pistol and fill it up half with water and half with ammonia.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And then shoot the dog in the eyes. I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So I got this water pistol. Now, just like your theory with the treadmills, I got a cheap one, so it was leaking in my pocket. Okay, so I got this leaky water pistol, and now here comes this little dog. He's at my feet. Now, he never bit me, but I always was worried about it. He's at my feet. So and I got you this time. So I shoot him in the eyes. You know what he does? He continues barking, but he's squinting. Same thing. Still barking, still chasing me, but now he's got his eyes closed.
Yeah, he could smell you. He knew your scent.
Too much water. It should have been more ammonia.
More ammonia works. So you've heard that trick before?
Yes,
huh?
yes.
Wow.
Especially your trash can. We did that in South Africa. If you had dogs coming to your trash can, you put ammonia on top of it.
Oh, that's the end of that.
They'll never come back.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Peter is going to call me now saying, okay, we got to answer this question about the ammonia.
Peter's going to call us now. Be careful.
It's funny when you say Peter, it sounds so pretty. All right, Dr. Ivan Levinrad is who you've been listening to, and if he has made sense to you and you would like to be on one of his programs, you would need to call somebody. Doctor, do you want to tell us where we would call? Or Leah?
Leah can give the number.
If you would like to reach Ivan, you can call us at the main facility for Strive. It is 352-351-8883.
Okay. And we will make sure to repeat that for you over the phone if you call us. Do you have a website or anything that you want to share?
www.striverehab.com is our website.
And Doctor, you said you sent some people by email. Have you written a book?
No, I haven't. I haven't written a book.
I thought maybe you were sending manuscripts or something. Yeah, you could write a book.
Yeah.
We just put the bug in your head.
Time. I'm working too much at Strive. That's and sorry, running.
Well, let's keep him busy.
Yeah. Leah, you always bring us some great guests. So you work with really the top of the tops, don't you?
I really do. We have an awesome bunch of people with.
I would agree with that. I have to.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was fun, and we learned a lot. And I hope some of it was absorbed by me because I need to listen to that information. Leah and Doctor, thank you so much. And I apologize for calling you Levinrad. It's Levinrad.
Levinrad, that's right.
Dr. Ivan Levinrad. All right, we will take a little break and be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
Trauma care centers save thousands of Florida lives.
But Shands UF wants to close Ocala Regional's trauma center.
An out-of-town hospital that receives millions in taxpayer money is suing to shut down Ocala's trauma center. They want to pull the plug on life-saving trauma care all over Florida. Don't let them get away with it.